That opens up the Scratch program. And again, we have the stage, the area for sprites, all the blocks of code, which are organized under topic headings. We have tabs across the top, which include scripts, costumes, sounds. Those things we'll discuss a little bit later. And of course, to the right, we have our giant workspace. So for this game, what we need are two characters. We need the first character to be our main character. In my game, I'm going to build a robot. You can make it anything you choose. And the second is the target, or where we want the robot to actually get to. And in my case, I chose to build a rocket ship. You can build whatever character you like. We're not going to use the Scratch Cat today, so let's go across the top bar. We're going to grab the scissors. See the scissor icon along your top bar? Click on that. Your mouse pointer will then turn to a pair of scissors. And we're just going to gently bring that down and left click on the cat. That gets rid of the cat. Now we have a blank canvas. We can do whatever we choose. First thing we're going to do, let's build our robot. Scratch gives us 4 ways to bring in new sprites. We can actually use pre-made sprites that Scratch provides for us. They give us quite a selection. You can arrow down and see all kinds of great choices. But we're going to close that for today because we really want to start to use our own characters. Even if you don't have time to build a very creative character today, I encourage you to use a square or a circle or a shape of some kind. It'll get you in that frame of mind that you should always be developing your own characters. I'm going to click here on Paint New Sprite. And for those of us that are using this particular project to meet curricular outcomes, don't forget that designing your own sprite will also give you credit across multiple disciplines because you're using your imagination and your own creativity. So when I click on the paintbrush, you'll see I get an empty window here, so the program knows I'm about to add a new sprite. It's just waiting for me to do so. The tab moves from the Scripts tab to the Costumes tab, and Costumes, again in keeping with the play theme of Scratch, we have Costumes, and then this wonderful paint program opens. We have a line of tools along the left-hand side, brush, a line tool to draw lines, a square, a rectangle tool, which will let us draw rectangles and squares. We have an ellipse tool that will let us draw circles or ellipses. T for text, so we can add text to our character. Paint bucket, which will allow us to fill selected areas with color. An eraser, of course, in case we change our mind, we're not happy with our current design. We have a little hand tool, which will let us select different parts of our design. And of course, we have select and duplicate, which is like a little cloning tool. Because I know I'm going to draw a robot for mine, I know I need mostly squares and rectangles. So I'm going to get you started on that. I'm going to click on the rectangle tool, so I'm going to actually select the tool. Now I have to kind of tell my program my tool preferences. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom. You can see that in one of these squares is an outline, and in the second one is a solid. So I have the choice of either making my rectangle with just an outline or a solid. I'm going to choose a solid. Then I'm going to choose a color. And because it's Brilliant Labs, I'm going to select a lovely shade of purple. Now that I've chosen my rectangle tool, solid fill, purple color, I'm going to come up to my palette and actually start to draw it. To do so, I just hold in my left button and drag to the area that I want the rectangle to be. And if I don't happen to have it in the right spot, I can always move it around. And of course, I can grab on any one of these nodes to change the shape. Anytime you see a shape that has nodes, which are these square pieces, if you grab any of the corners and pull out or in, you will scale the object. If you choose to drag from the left or the right or the top or the bottom, you're actually changing the image. So I can change it from a rectangle to a square. I can make my square smaller or larger. So all kinds of things I can do, and I can move it around. When I'm finished with that and I'm happy with the shape I've created, I just click somewhere else. You can see it automatically appears. It thinks so far that this is the character that I have built. And it also shows up in my preview window down the bottom with my little sprite icon. So lots of things happening already. So I'm going to get you to press pause on the video right now. Take some time to build your own character, whatever you choose it to be. And don't worry, we can always make changes later on. And then come back and join me and we'll start to build our rocket ship. Let's move on to character number 2. The second character that we're going to create is going to be a rocket ship. And again, we want to create our own characters. So let's click on here on the paintbrush for Paint New Sprite. Okay, this time we're going to grab the brush tool as we start to draw. And if you look at the brush tool, if I draw over here, you can kind of see the thin black line that I'm creating. If I actually want to make my line thicker, I have a little slide bar along the bottom. So if I slide that along and now I come back here, I'm actually working with a larger, thicker line. So just a little way for you to make changes. If I happen to draw something that I don't like, I can go back one, or forward if I'm sorry I deleted it, or I can just clear altogether. So again, I'm going to get you to press pause on the video as you get started building your rocket ship. Okay, welcome back. I hope you're happy with your rocket ship design. Now let's look over here on our stage, and you can see that our robot is quite large. To move my robot, I can actually put my mouse on top of the robot, hold in the left mouse button, and drag him to the left or to the right. I'm going to let him go over there. I feel he is quite large in comparison to my rocket ship. So I'm actually going to go up to the top bar. I have two choices along the top. One is grow and the second is shrink. So I'm going to choose the shrink tool, and then I move my mouse down onto my robot that I want to make smaller. I'm going to click a couple of times until I'm happy. What I need to do now is kind of fix up this background. So let's do the same thing, and you know that Scratch is going to give us pre-made backgrounds, but we don't want to be using those, do we? No, we're going to close those pre-made backgrounds and we're going to paint our own. So once again, we're going to click on the paintbrush. We get a brand new paint window, all the same tools that we had when we were building our sprite. Let's grab that fill tool. So I'm going to click on the bucket. Down at the bottom row now I have 4 choices on how I want to fill my page. First choice is just straight up solid color, so I can click up here and just decide to do it in one solid color. Next choice is a fill, from moving from solid to the left, fading to the right. Click on it now. If I choose that tool and click on, you see I get like a nice little blur. The next choice I have would be a fill top to bottom, and I think that's kind of what I'm looking for because I really want it to look like a sky. So let's clear that blend. Let's grab our bucket again. Let's go top to bottom, and we're going to, for color, I think I'm going to choose maybe some kind of like a nice sky color. Maybe a nice blue. And I'm going to move my bucket, and I'm very happy with that. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, I need a few clouds in my sky, so I'm going to grab my circle ellipse tool. I'm going to make that a solid because I want nice solid fluffy clouds. I'm going to come over here and grab the white paint color, and it's a little trick to help you make some clouds, because clouds in our cartoon world are mostly just circles. Ellipses kind of arranged together in shapes. So there we have our first one. Yeah, I'm going to make the second one. Move that around a little bit. I just want to have some nice clouds to give us a game to get started. I can also turn a shape. So if I grab that top bar, aside from dragging left, right, I can turn that. Oh, there, I'm very happy with those 2 clouds. Next thing I need to do, I need to put a ground. So I need to make a baseline. So I'm going to grab the rectangle, and now I need a nice dark shade of green. So let me see, I'm going to draw that along the bottom. Yeah, that's not actually too bad.